Hey, it's Tim, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I snagged my buddy Jeff Hunter, General Motors Jeff, from Canada. And so I thought it'd be interesting to do a video because he is very GM-centric right now. He has a good GM following on his channel that covers the brand pretty well. And I thought it'd be interesting to have him on camera and kind of discussing the state of GM trucks. Enter the dun dun dun, right? And so, as you know, that's my channel. I review everything, and but you do GM exclusively, and you do a really good job deep diving into just GM exclusive stuff. So, what I'm curious from you is, where do you see the state of GM trucks, right? So you have Ford, who always the best-selling truck in 45 years, whatever. But no, you do the asterisk thing, right? Not if you combine the GMC and Chevy sales, right? Right? So, I mean, do you think the GM lineup right now is one of the strongest you've seen in a while, or do you think there's opportunities? I mean, where do you see the brand?
No, hands down. I think we have a really good diversification of a lineup. When it comes to the full size, when it comes to the heavy duties, and I think there's some things coming down the pipe for the heavy duties. Maybe a little more off-roading on that way. Our mid-size trucks are good. To be honest with you, and I hate to admit this, the only area I think we're lacking, and my son's going to hate me for saying this, and I think you know where I'm going with this, is we need something along the lines of a Maverick. Now that I've seen what's going on, I know it's not something I want to admit, but no. Aside from that, I think it's the direction they're going. I'm very, very excited for. And now, of course, we're gonna have the electrification of our trucks too. Obviously, with the Hummer, the Silverado EV, the soon-to-be Denali, Sierra EV. I mean, the growth is there, and I think we have almost all the bases covered.
And so we're looking at where they're coming from, right? So you have the multi-truck strategy, which I like what GM's doing, right? Multi-truck, different configurations, still have a diesel, which is shocking this time of day. I was talking to some GM engineers today about that, and marketing team about that. And they said early on the diesel was really hard for them to sell, and now it's become like people are asking for it.
I can tell you why it was hard for them to sell is because nobody knew. Like, nobody knew what its capabilities were.
Right.
So what had to have happened, and see, I can come from a dealership perspective when my dealership hat on when this comes. When saying this is that we had to have them in, we had to experience it ourselves in order to convey that passion as to, like, this is an amazing engine. This is an amazing motor, because until you have that, and initially, to be fair, they kind of introduced it, but they didn't have any real supply of it. Yeah. So it was very small numbers to begin with, and then if you have those small numbers, you're not getting the people talking about it to get that information out there as to how capable it actually is.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you look at the industry overall too, and you watch other things going on. Do you feel like when your customers come in and you work at dealership level, are they like attracted to the brand from the powertrain standpoint? Is it styling? Are they GM fanatics? I mean, what's really driving that growth?
I think there's a little bit of a mix of everything. The one thing I can certainly say is, a lot of the people that I see are, there's huge loyalty when it comes to truck brands, right off the bat. So I think you have a certain base of people just because their dad's driven GM always, or they've always, it kind of trickles down to an extent. So you have that base. But I really think, I hear this a lot, that the looks of the GM trucks are there. The biggest complaint, of course, which we're addressing, I shouldn't say I'm not part of GM, but you know what I mean, but they're addressing now, is this interior that we're sitting in right now and looking at in the screens. And if I had a dollar for every time I had somebody comment on my channel about, I love the looks, I love the exterior, the power plant's good, I hate that interior, right? And then so it had to be a loyalty aspect and just the exterior looks, and then just the performance. I mean, we have a good diversification of engines as well, aside from just the lineup, right?
I got to tell you, the interior, and I think it's really telling. So they have the 2022 like limited, or the Silverado's got its own LTD.
Yeah. I call them all limited.
Yeah. I mean, whatever terminology is. But if you park that truck next to this truck looks like it's 5 years newer.
Right.
It's remarkable how big of a difference that makes. And I try to tell people on the channel, yes, there's an argument between, capability of the truck, and you can use it for, that, or you can have luxury, right? So the interior, the tech, and that kind of things. But that does make a difference. It really does make a difference having that screen in there. It's a stupid thing, but it just makes you feel like you're more competitive from looking at different trucks. It makes you, it's more interesting. And I'm surprised at, like, it's like the Denali Ultimate's got a suede headliner.
This one does too.
Is this way too?
Yeah.
Yeah, this way. So, but think about that. Like, you've been in trucks
Cadillac.
for a while.
That's Cadillac.
I've been in trucks for a long time, right?
Yeah.
When did a suede headliner become a marketing part, right? I mean,
Never.
Right? I mean,
No.
I'm going to buy this truck because it's got a suede headliner. The other one does. Nobody talks about this stuff,
No.
but it does. It just it's a weird thing. It's like it does make a difference.
But trucks now are not what we're using trucks for is a family vehicle now more than it ever was even 15 years ago, right?
Sure.
And we're using them on the freeway more. Whereas, back in the day, my dad had a truck, but we took our Buick Sabre when we went somewhere. We went on a trip.
Right.
Now it's like, no, we have the SUV to run around town, but if we're going to go on a trip, we want the Denali Ultimate, or you know what I mean? We want that luxury truck.
Yeah. And I will tell you that the fuel economy has come a long ways. No more fuel economy penalty. I used to say with trucks, right? You don't have that anymore. Ride comfort's a lot better. The interior's a lot better. Exterior's a lot better. I think they've come a long ways. I feel like they're very much more competitive now than they have been in the past.
Yeah.
From my standpoint, I think it's still a little ways to go. I think that, I want the diesel and the AT4X. I want diesel across the board. I think it's a fantastic engine. The 2.7 turbo is improved. It's better. People do like it.
Yes.
I think that we're going to end up with a hybrid system there, a true hybrid, not the whatever the mild hybrid they had for a long period of time.
Yes, the e-assist.
It seems like we're going to end up with like a big V8, maybe not with emissions ways going, a diesel and hybrid we're going to end up doing. I mean, it seems like that's what the future is going to be. But, I look at the trucks and I'm thinking this is much more what I expect from General Motors.
Yes.
It's much more of what that brand was when I grew up around trucks. I expect this level of stuff. Now, I'm curious, people always on my channel, they accuse me of being rich because I bought a $60,000 truck, right?
Yeah.
So, from your dealer's experience, and you're checking this stuff out, I mean, this is like a 70, this starts at 77,000, whatever the deal is. I mean, realistically, with taxes and everything, we're probably an $85,000 truck.
Yeah, for sure.
In Canada, it's like 90,000.
It is.
So I mean, is that where we're at these days? Are customers talking about the price, or just putting down the money?
Customers talk about the price, but at the end of the day, they also want all these features, and there's a cost associated with that.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a reason why GMC sells more of the high-end trims than anything else. If we're going to talk about GMC,
yeah, because Denali is a name that you want, right? Yeah,
and people want the features, and it's there's no question it's a hard pill to swallow. Don't get me wrong, but with the expectation of having a 13.4-inch color touchscreen and massaging seats that are feeling very good right now, by the way.
He found the button, by the way.
Like, I know the inside and out of these things. I've driven 3 hours and not even realized, oh yeah, I got to turn that on. Anyway, but yeah, if I'm going to drop $65,000 on the truck, I want to drop 80 if it's something I'm going to be spending that much time in, and I want the creature comforts, and because I just feel like I'm going to be missing out. Now, yes, that's an easy thing to say. It's a different thing to drop that money down. But it clearly seems to be going that way, because again, we sell more, at least where I work anyways, we sell more of the mid to high end trucks than we do the $45,000 Pro or WT trucks all day long.
So when you got into the Sierra Denali Ultimate yesterday,
yes.
So we got here yesterday,
yep.
You get the Sierra Denali Ultimate, then you get an AT4X today, we're off-road all day long. But when you got in the Sierra Denali Ultimate yesterday, what was your initial reaction to that? Because had you been in it yet?
No, I mean, obviously,
you saw the photos, right? So you get in it. So I mean, is it? I was like, wow.
Yeah, honestly. So I did a video a while back, and for a different reason, I took it down. So you're not going to find it. So don't go looking for it. But where I compared it and said that they could literally take the badge off and name it a Cadillac.
Yeah.
It could be a Cadillac EXT truck, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because it has all the hits that you would see in an in a higher end trim level vehicle. Again, we're talking suede interior or suede headliner. We're talking massaging seats. We're talking obviously heated, cooled. We're talking beautiful 22-inch wheels. The interior, the stitching, like the color, the attention to detail, like. Talking about you can't see from obviously where we're sitting, but like there's the metallic speakers even in the back. The covering over the bow is like, it's the fit and finish and the little details is, they call it premium, but I call it luxury, right? right? Like
yeah, it's a very interesting. So Duncan Alfred, or I think that's his
Yes,
name.
yeah,
Was
Duncan,
he's the VP Aldred? Yeah, he's a VP of GMC, and it was interesting. He was talking about how GMC is not a luxury brand, it's not a regular brand, it's a premium brand. It's a weird place. It's a weird term because nobody understands it, right? It just doesn't doesn't resonate. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I do wonder, and this comes up in conversations with on their channel a lot. Do you have any people that talk about there's no panoramic moonroof available?
I have people that talk about that? Absolutely.
Is it something that?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like these days. Yeah. I mean, it seems like that's kind of a miss on the. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but there is no GM vehicle of an SUV or truck that has it.
Wrong.
Is it the Hummer?
No, our Yukon and Tahoes have the.
Do they have panels?
It's the whole roof. Yeah.
Right. So just the trucks. Okay.
Just our trucks and our small trucks don't even have a sunroof, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. So what I mean, obviously, my understanding, of course, is and what we're talking about is this being a refresh. Now, my understanding also is this refresh was due a year and a half, 2 years ago, and then everything happened, right? So this stuff was supposed to come out earlier than it did. I think this stuff has been in the pipe for a while, right? And so we're seeing this later than I think expected, and so therefore that's pushing the next generation of this truck, and again, my understanding to 2025. And I don't think that it was ever in the cards, as much as people complained about the smaller sunroof, that they were going to change the whole roof line on a refresh as opposed to waiting for the 2025, like the overall generational change, right?
Right. So that's interesting. So, I mean, I've talked a lot at length on the channel about GM seats. I love, hate of certain. They're getting better in certain trims, not so great in other trims. Panoramic moonroof has been a thing. Let me be very positive for a minute. There's a lot of things I like about this truck. But I'm just curious, from your standpoint, what else are you hearing from consumers as maybe a miss?
If we're talking about the AT4X specifically?
AT4X or GM trucks as overall? I mean, I don't think I hear anything else.
No, I think if we're going to talk about AT4X specifically, I think there are some people that the off-road community that wanted to see a bit more, and I'm maybe one of them, that wanted to see a bit more aggressive front end to it, something to differentiate it from the regular AT4 a little bit. Because right now, you know, if you didn't have them side by side and you saw one in the parking lot and you went another 200 yards and you saw another one, you might not necessarily even know which is which. And if I'm spending that kind of money, I know it sounds vain, but I want to have a truck that looks different and has a different clearance in the front or whatever it is. So that's one of the things I hear people, talk a little bit about is the ZR2 had more aggressive. Why didn't they do that with this? The diesel not being put in some more offerings. But no, as an overall, the biggest one I had was, as you mentioned, the sunroof, and this interior. I mean, there's no question that was the one I heard the most, and it's so refreshing to now, instead of, I hate that 8-inch color touchscreen, it's so dated, blah blah. Like it's like a completely different. Yeah, it's like I have different people watching my channel, which I don't, obviously.
But they took that hate out of that. It's like,
finally, it's just a finally. Like if one word that's on my channel now, more than any other word, if you probably looked it up, other than my Canadian people saying sorry, it would be finally, right? It's about time. So. Well,
yeah, I mean, they'll find something new, right? I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course.
But you pointed out something that I didn't even notice, was that the rear doors don't have the easy unlock lock.
I'm a nitpicker.
No, that was great because I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
So wait, let me back up for a minute. If you don't know, on door handles now, there's usually a button, and it's keyless entry. So if you don't know what that is, you have the key in your pocket, you can walk up and press a button. And
proximity sensor.
Yeah, proximity. And there's some brands actually now making your phone as a key. If you have your phone on you, can just walk up and unlock your truck and get in and go.
The Silverado EV, I think, is going to be that.
Yeah, I think so. So, but what's interesting is the 2022 Limiteds or whatever before times had it on the rear doors too. So like kids could walk up, unlock the truck, hop in, or other people could dance. And the newer trucks don't have that.
No. So what happened was, when they initiated the current body style, with the exception of obviously the new interior, new front end that we have in this new 2022, in 19, right? So in 19, the new generation Silverado Sierras came out. At that time, both the GMCs and the Chevys had all 4 doors having the button on it.
Okay.
2020 came around, 2020 or 2021? 2020, 2020, I think it was. So the second year, the Chevy, that went away. So when I do my video and I do a comparison between a Trail Boss and an AT4 or whatever it was, I would always point that out because I have young children, and even not even for them getting in the back, I would open the door in the back for them first before I get in to make sure they get in, right?
Oh, you were a
yeah, I know. But so that was something that separated them. Besides the wheel, the trim around the wheel, whether the GMC has, the Chevy doesn't, like little things, right? And I caught myself. We got an AT4 that I sold to actually one of my YouTube subscribers, and I had stopped myself before I said it about talking about, and I love how the GMC has the Ford, because I noticed it didn't. And I didn't catch that initially until I was actually doing a walk around. And I thought, okay, well, maybe it'll be on the Denali Ultimate. It's not on the Denali Ultimate either. So again, is that a deal breaker for me? Is it going to make me ever not want to buy that brand? No. But it's some of these things sometimes I'm going, why did you do that? Another little thing, I don't know if you ever noticed this, we used to have the child safety locks on the door there. So you'd have the window locks, you could lock it, and you press the child safety locks for the back.
Oh, really?
So the young kids in the back, you could lock it so they're not opening it or whatever. Now, a couple years ago, they went away from that, and now it's inside the door. Again, minor thing, but it's kind of like, sometimes I'm going, why are we going backwards in some of these things, right?
And that's one of the things that I don't think people truly appreciate, and I've said this several times in different videos and things like that, is that throughout the life cycle of a vehicle, so if 2019 is a new one, and 2020 is next year, whatever, people have this thinking that they're going to work out the bugs and things, the vehicle all stays the same.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not the case. There are many small changes that happen year over year that you may not even notice, but they do make changes. And it's there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, they may see consumers don't care about it. They're going to take $1 out of the vehicle. Take that button away, saves $1 on the vehicle, whatever. The other thing happens is that parts suppliers go to business.
Right.
They can't get the parts anymore, so they have to kill the option or whatever. And so I tell people, like, there's multiple changes every year on vehicles, and those are detailed things.
And so, I would normally have said, okay, I can attribute that little lock situation to the current situation we're in. And like, that's one thing you can eliminate that people aren't noticing as much.
Right.
But this happened before the pandemic was really in swing with the Chevys, and now it's happening with the GMC. So I'm not really sure what minor detail, right? But
I mean, my dad worked in engineering. He used to every year have a 1-inch binder that he'd fill with the parts changes of year over year.
Really?
Yeah, okay. Because under the hood, they'd redesign a part, redesign whatever. They had all these changes year over year. So he'd always tell me, it was always in reverse what everybody else said. He always tell me, he says, always buy the first year vehicle.
Right.
And the reason for that was that first year vehicle had all the content they wanted to put out there, that vehicle. And every year after that, the penny pictures would go in, and they take more.
Or can we cut? People are still going to like it,
right?
But not notice that
the price doesn't change.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't change, and they just take out more stuff. So I always think that's kind of interesting. But anyways, we've rambled on long enough. So I'm going to put this link to his channel down below. It'll be in the description. Check it out. It's a good channel. Really good detailed information on General Motors vehicles.
Thank you.
So thank you. Yeah. So for more, check the videos over here. Website down below. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road.